What are the three fondest words in the English language? To some, it is I love you. To others, it is dinner is served. But if most people were truthful, the answer would probably be salary increment letter. The three words that most people would love to hear, salary increment letter, because people believe more money would make them happier, that their lives would improve if they could climb the income ladder, even if it's just a few rungs, which is why increments are such a big deal. Asking for a raise at work is like asking someone to prom. People think about a raise ever so often, but asking for one makes them nervous. Yet people continue to believe that once they do get it, their lives would change for the better, that they would be happier. And new studies agree, but only to an extent, because when the raise comes, the reality is far from expectations, and I'll tell you why. But first, let me clarify one thing. Contrary to the adage, money does buy you happiness. Many studies have found the link between income and happiness. More money does not solve all problems, but maybe it is nicer to cry in a Ferrari. According to research, people's happiness increases with a rise in their salaries, up to at least $500,000. This applies to random lotteries as well. In one study, a cash giveaway of $10,000 boosted people's happiness for 6 months. In another, those who won six-figure lotteries were happier for a decade. On average, richer people tend to be happier, and this is obvious. More money means a higher standard of living and greater opportunities, which is why getting a raise is important. But its impact may not be as big as you would imagine. The magnitude of its effect is not life-changing. And there are three reasons why. For starters, the proportion of increase matters. Double the salary does not mean double the happiness, and a jump this big, double the salary, is rare. Usually the increase is incremental and small. So getting a raise does not really change people's day-to-day life. Secondly, as people move up the income scale, it takes more money to generate the same good feelings. This is what research says. Moving from $15,000 to $30,000 has the same satisfaction as going from $60,000 to $120,000. And thirdly, it can be less about how much you make and more about how much others do. Basic human nature, comparison affects how happy people are with their pay, be it in companies or close to home. According to studies, executives are more likely to quit if their pay is low compared to the other top bosses. And living in an area where people make more money is linked to being less happy. So money is good, and a raise may temporarily make you happy. But it's one of the many facets of work life that would make you happy. And when it comes to income happiness, there is only one scientifically proven trick: time over money. People are happier when they focus on how they use the money rather than getting more of it. Think about it like this. A raise is for humans what GDP growth is for nations. It is a big priority. Now here is a list of the 5 biggest economies in the world, and then a list of the 5 happiest nations. This data is from last year before a certain war broke out. But keeping that aside, we know that there is no overlap in the lists. There is a strong relationship between GDP and population well-being, but it starts breaking down after a certain level. Because growth for the sake of growth, just like a raise for the sake of it, does not always translate into happiness.